That's a lot of noise, isn't it? Well, I'm going to break it down. I do have a favor to ask of Gene. Can you turn that light off up there?
Yeah.
Thank you. This EVP, a lot of you may have heard it already. It is known as the best damn EVP ever. And there's a reason. Because it is the best damn EVP ever. I've heard one other EVP that was fantastic. It made sense. It validated the person. The family members were able to say, oh my God, that's them. And it validated the whole case. We didn't need to go and try to get more evidence. And a lot of people were like, what? You didn't go back? No. Why would we need to go back? This is what you wanted. Here is the proof that this person is here, just like you thought. What you hear on this EVP sample, and it is very, very noisy, but there's 3 people in the room. There's a security guard, one of my former team members, and her husband. And I wasn't at the location at the time, but she was really afraid to bring me this EVP because she thought I was going to shred it. And I heard it and I was like, holy crap. But anyway, you hear them going upstairs into a conference room of a business. There's a really, really good chance that you passed this company as you were driving into El Reno today. It's a very well-known trucking company right outside of Oklahoma City, or right on the edge of Oklahoma City. The story is that the owner of this trucking company was a workaholic. And to build this empire, which is still there today, making lots and lots of money, that's very true. He was a workaholic. He also died and had a heart attack in his place of business. So he was such a workaholic, his family had would come and eat dinner with him at the office. There's actually a dining room built on top of the main, the office area, where people would go, or his family would have to come to him if they want to have dinner. So he had a heart attack and he perished in the business. So they buried him, the whole 9 yards, whatever. Well, maybe he's asleep. I might have played that like 15 times to open him up. So the truckers and the security guys and all these people would, they were like reporting all this crazy stuff going on in the conference area, in the upper office where his office was, taking place, that they were like, stuff's moving, chairs are moving, and the key thing is he had one pet peeve in life. He hated smokers, and in the trucking industry, that's a big thing. I mean, most truckers smoke cigarettes. Well, he hated it. He wanted people off you go outside, you can smoke inside, step away from the building, blah, blah, blah. Well, his trademark scent, they said that the whole place would smell like cigarettes when something weird would be in the building. Or they'd walk into a room and it smelled like somebody was in there just puffing away smoking a cigarette. So this EVP, so you got the trademark of the guy, they rumored that he was there, and then the cigarette smoke smell. And it's also known that he was kind of a hard ass and all that. And he wasn't a nice person. He was a businessman, and that's why he made lots of money. So we're going to play the EVP again, but I'm going to tell you really quick the breakdown of it. You hear them entering upstairs. You hear them speaking about how they smell cigarette smoke. You hear her speaking into her recorder, which I don't recommend putting it right up to your mouth, by the way. Explaining that they smelled cigarettes. But you will hear this gentleman say, "Goddamn cigarette smokers." And then she validates the cigarette smell. And then that's it. And we'll play it again. And then I'm going to tell you a little more. We got some really weird follow-up on this story as well. Did you hear hear it? So the cool part of this is this was validated when we took it up to the trucking company, and the family heard it. They're like, that's him. Well, the cool thing is we're like, okay, this is it. He's here. We don't know what to do. Tell you to do. He's a hard ass. He's going to be here. We can't get rid of him. And they're like, thank you. We're not crazy. That's all they wanted. So a few years later, which was actually, 4 months ago, I was at Kyle's 1025 in Nicholas Hills, Oklahoma, which is a nice restaurant, and it's actually used to be an old speakeasy. He was neighbors with this guy. He didn't know anything about EVP. He didn't know anything about all this, but Kyle's 1025 is rumored to have a ghost there. And he's like, what is EVP? And I was like, get on the internet and I'll show you really quick. So I played this for him, told him the name of the people. Now I don't really like to tell the names, but if you email me, ask me nicely, I'll probably tell you. But I told him the names, and he's like, he heard it, and he was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And I was like, no, I'm not kidding you. Why? And he's like, that's him. And he said that the family, and there's really no way of putting it. He said they went from redneck to riches. And he said that they drove their neighbors, they lived in Nichols Hills, they drove their neighbors nuts because they put the most tacky holiday ornaments out for every stinking holiday. He said, I know those people, and that's him. And he screamed, and he screamed, and he screamed. And that's what he did. He screamed at everybody. He was an asshole. And he's like, that's him. So, many years later, I'm like, are you kidding? He's like, no, that's him. And he was floored. Like, his face, he was just like, you gotta be kidding me. And so, anyway, so it was really cool to get even a second validation on that outside of the family and all that stuff. But it is kind of in the air at this point because he said he remembered that he smoked cigarettes. So I don't know. I haven't got a straight story about that yet, but he said, I think he smoked. So I was like, okay, we'll find out about that later. But you can go online and hear that if you want to keep hearing more of it. And if you actually type in best damn EVP ever, it'll show up on Google.